I was interested in acoustics because of my background in music, but what really got me interested in engineering is my interest in math. Kind of nice to also understand that, wow, these same equations and principles that I think are really fascinating, just because math is fascinating, are what makes music music. STEM is very interdisciplinary. You're constantly making connections between different areas of research and different projects. When you're playing in a symphony or playing with other people, you're constantly like listening to the sound they're making and adjusting your pitch or adjusting your volume. I think that collaborative aspect of music, where you're just really working with other people in a pretty intangible way, has a lot of correlations to STEM.
I had been making guitars and customizing guitars for some years, and then I started building my own lap steel guitars, and I realized with the lap steel guitar, they're very simple instruments, but they've got a younger cousin that's much more technologically advanced, called a pedal steel guitar, which is a very, very mechanically involved instrument with lots of linkages and adjustments you can make to it that costs thousands of dollars. And I thought to myself, a guitar is a really simple example of uniaxial tension. And uniaxial tension is one of the primary things that we study in a course like TAM 251 and TAM 252. And so since I had developed some experience making lap steel guitars, I thought, let's do a project where we'll have the students try to make a lap steel guitar with some of the functionality of a pedal steel guitar at relatively low additional expense. So I thought, let's come up with a way that we can have the students create a very simple linkage that would attach to a lap steel guitar and give the musician in a way that doesn't interfere with what they're doing with their hands playing the instrument, a means of retensioning a string.
As a kid growing up in Russia, I started playing at early age, like 8, and that was very customary because Soviet intelligentsia families had it like a big thing, teaching their children piano mostly. And then I didn't like it all that much. But I did practice for 4 years, and then I abandoned it, and when guitar started being popular and rock and roll like came in, then I picked up the guitar, but after a while I heard my friends, when I was about the age of 14 or 15, I had my friends starting playing rock piano, and that like shocked me. And then I started trying, and wow, I discovered I can do this actually. Since then, I just started playing rock and jazz piano, bluesy piano. And that's how I started playing in my high school band. As far as link between music and technology, it's extremely profound. For example, in my course, Computer Control, one of the topics is wavelets, and this is exactly how to place in time and in frequency the sounds, and that's music, the notes, in time and in frequency. In digital signal processing, now it's digital technology. Everything is digitized, so music naturally comes as a tool to show the quality of discretization, various techniques of discretization. So not only it plays a big role in my life, but also in actually teaching, in conveying the basic concepts.
I started playing piano when I was 5 or 6, and I really liked getting to do something with the music beyond just hearing it. So right from the very beginning, that was something I enjoyed, and I've stuck with it ever since and just added on other instruments and other opportunities from there, but it all started with piano for me. When you're in engineering, people will often say, you must be mechanically minded, and I don't hear this as much with music, but it'd be the same as saying, well, you must be musically minded. And those sound like they could be very different things, but I found that there's actually quite a lot of overlap because music is very complex. It's very intricate construction, and there are many, many layers and thoughts behind the finished piece. And in the same vein, with a design problem, it's just as complex. There are lots of different factors and variables that we think about and how to put the pieces together. For me personally, looking at a piece of music and understanding it and looking at a design problem and understanding that is the same type of thinking, just applied in different ways.